Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Untold, where we have very interesting guests every day, but today is different.
Today is with a host, TV host.
Yes, we have a fellow colleague on
100%.
KTV, and we're going to have a very insightful conversation about how to be on camera, her experience on KTV.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. I think we're too invested into this episode that we forgot
Yeah.
to introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
So ALMazeedi,
Oh, that's me.
Hassan Al-Ajuz.
Oh, yeah, I think people have known us
I mean,
by now.
but I think
We're
episodes-
family now.
Today will be very special.
Yes.
Let's just get into it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
And we're back on the Untold with our guest, a co-worker, a colleague, a friend, Hadeel ALMusaileem.
Thank you for having me today on
course,
the
welcome on the
Untold.
show.
It's a pleasure to meet you for the first time. I know you're his
It's,
friend.
it's actually my first time meeting you as well, so that's really cool.
Yeah, no. It's exciting to have a conversation with you.
Yes.
All right, let's do
So, we're going to talk about a lot of things.
All right,
But
first time
let's-
being interviewed.
Ooh.
It's always a
The
challenge, by the way.
tables have turned.
I know. Now I feel like now I know how my guests usually
Feel.
feel.
Right?
I'm like wondering what kind of questions you guys are gonna ask me.
I was in that shoes at some point. I was
We're
asked
gonna
all the
start
questions.
simple. We're going to
All
start
right,
simple.
all right.
Start
Go.
simple.
Okay. I'm
What
getting
brought
nervous.
you to the world of television and wanting to be a TV host?
Well, it's funny because it's always been in like my dream as a kid. When I remember when I was like 13 or 14, I used to do my own little shows, if you call them
Nice.
shows.
Yeah.
You know how as kids we used to have this laptop and there was a camera and
Webcam.
a webcam like when it came out first
Yes.
came out. I think it was like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to record myself presenting and
Just by yourself.
What,
by myself.
what-
I would actually bring my brother into it, my
What-
little brother into it.
What made you want to do that, though?
I don't know.
Were you inspired by a show, a TV personality, or anything like that?
Not really.
You just wanted to try it.
I just felt like
You
it
felt
was
like
in
you
me.
wanted to do this.
It's just been there for no reason. I don't know. It's just
So you
there.
basically talk to your brother, be like, let's record a random episode and
No,
this
I
random.
didn't. I would just drag him. He's 7 years younger than I am,
Oh,
so I
okay.
would just drag him and like, today you're my guest, and I would ask him the most random questions, and he would actually
Would you
cooperate.
Would you do it in English or Arabic? That time?
It depends on
Oh, you've
how,
done it in
how I
English and you've
felt.
done it in Arabic.
Depends on how I felt. If I was watching Hannah Montana, for instance, as a kid, come on.
So
I
how old
watched
were you
it.
back then?
She said like 12, 13.
You were 12, 13.
12, 13.
What kind of questions would you ask him?
I can't remember, but I remember actually my aunt has a copy of it on CDs.
Oh,
and
nice.
she
Wow.
kept it there.
Blackmail material.
No, yeah, she's not gonna give them to me. I tried, trust me.
Oh, she wanted to
But
give them to you.
No,
Just
she's
a
like-
copy.
She said I'm gonna keep them with me.
Uh-huh.
And then she showed me one of the CDs before. It was funny.
Send them to the Untold crew so we
No.
play them on this
No.
episode.
That's a beautiful
I'm
memory,
not gonna
though.
show my Hannah Montana phase with me being 13 years old.
It's
total.
a beautiful memory, though.
Yeah,
It is a
It'll
beautiful,
stay forever.
funny
And
memory.
it brought you
And
here.
I've never told that story before. What?
Yeah, and brought you to television. That experience
Actually,
developed you as a host.
It developed me, but I actually, like when I first got into the Ministry of Information and I started working in media, I started as a technician. Like my job isn't really presenting.
Right.
But then I met Hiba Al-Qahtani, if you know her.
Yes.
And we became, I'm not gonna say close, but we got to know
Befriended each other.
And then I was like, you know what? I think I want to give it a try.
Yeah.
And then she helped me with that, and that was really cool.
You see, the question I have, so because when you were 12 and you're doing this with your brother, right? And you had a vision of being a TV host, and then you started with TV, but you didn't start as a host. You didn't.
No, I
No,
didn't.
Yeah, she
exactly.
As a
started
reporter.
as a reporter.
how-
You started off with Hella
I
Kuwait,
believe
right?
that you had to start from the bottom.
You
if
always
you
have to.
really
So
wanna do
that's what
something.
I wanted to ask you. Like, it seems like you actually truly believed in that. That hey, listen, I have to start from the bottom, and at some point I will reach the point I want.
Yeah, I didn't want to, miss all the fun of,
Fair.
Right. So, like I said, you started off with being a reporter on Hella Kuwait, our
Hella
daily
Kuwait,
show.
yeah, 2018.
One of our most watched on KTV2.
Yeah.
You started in 2018 as a reporter, slowly working your way.
Started
How
in
was your
English,
experience
and then
there?
tried Arabic, and then
Tried
tried
Arabic.
sports.
Nice.
I'm
The experience
trying to,
initially, yeah.
I'm trying to expand.
Expand.
You know.
How was it in the
myself.
beginning, the feel?
I was so stressed because I remember I had zero experience and I had no idea what I'm doing.
Don't forget, you did have that experience when you were 12, 13 doing your own
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, but it was for me.
I know, but it developed something for you. Trust me.
I guess. And then the director was like, you know what? Here we go. Take the mic. And he thought I actually knew how to do everything. I had experience and I didn't. I was like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
And it was like a
Yourself.
2 minute support, but actually it was my first time on camera and I did it. You could tell I was a little bit, stiff. Like,
Yeah.
the way
I
was
think
holding
that
the mic.
happens with any first timers.
But yeah, but eventually I got the hang of it.
No, I was the same when I was the first time on the Untold. On the first episode, I felt a bit stiff, and then Ahmed and I just got along a bit more. And now
when you first started this wasn't even your first podcast.
that's very true.
That's the
That's very
thing.
true.
It
That's very
gets
true. That's very
easier
true.
when you're
Yeah.
working with people that just gets you. Just
Right.
something, I don't know, it depends. It gets easier when you're having fun. And if you're not taking it seriously, it doesn't feel like a job. It feels like something that I'm doing because I want to do it. Like
Yes.
I don't have to sit like at a desk from 9 to 5 or anything. It's
None of us
something-
want that job.
I don't have it in me. I can't.
Yeah. Us
like-
creatives cannot imagine sitting behind a desk.
Yeah.
9 to 5. No.
But
It's hard.
I'm sure people are curious as to know what does your job entail. Like, what do you? How does your day look like? An average day for you?
I think just like any TV presenter, just like any like
What
you
does
guys.
your day?
Yeah,
What
how's
does your
your-
day look like?
Mine
Long.
starts. It depends. Sometimes we have shooting. Some days we don't have shooting.
So it's flexible.
It's yeah.
It's based on the
we,
shooting schedule.
We
Okay,
don't. Yeah,
okay.
we don't have a
Set
specific.
hours. We don't.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of our job.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the best thing is you can actually get to choose the shows you work on. You're not forced to do anything.
Absolutely.
When you get to choose the things you want to work on, you actually get to do your best and you get to, have fun and
absolutely.
do something
Yeah.
that you want.
Let's
and
talk
eventually-
about those shows. Your biggest show right now, and it's airing during Ramadan, has been airing daily.
It's been airing
K-Town.
for about a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
K-Town.
A
Tell us
year.
about this show.
Okay,
What
so
is it?
K-Town is
Yeah.
basically, it's about where to go in Kuwait.
Yes.
And it's mainly for, let's say, foreigners or
Foreigners, expats in
non-Kuwaitis.
Kuwait. Yes, our main
Peop-
audience on KTV2.
Yeah, and obviously visitors for the first
Yes,
time in Kuwait.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just show them around, and
I think
it's-
that's the beauty of your show is to show people what they can do in Kuwait because they think there's not much.
I was surprised there's a lot of
There's
Kuwaitis
a
are
lot
actually
of-
watching us, and
Really?
I got stopped. What?
Wow.
Because
a
they
lot
want
of
to know.
Kuwait-
They want to know where
I
where
was
to go.
actually stopped by a girl once at the mall, and she was like, "I'm watching your show," and I actually made a list of the places you go to because some of them I've seen for the first time. I was like, "Okay, cool." So I'm really happy that we're digging into places in Kuwait that most people don't even know about. So that's
Wow,
really
and
cool.
a lot of hidden gems of Kuwait.
Lots of
Yeah,
images.
like places I would never expect that we actually had in Kuwait. But once I started working in K-Town, once we had to do the research of looking
How
for
did
places.
the concept come together in the first place?
Well, first of all, I want to obviously give a big shout out to Abdulaziz,
Please shout out to everyone.
Abdulaziz
Aziz Johar.
Johar,
Hello. Hi.
Nancy,
Nancy.
everyone who's working with
Yes.
us, because they started the idea and they thought that I was perfect for it. And when they first put me in, I was like, okay, what am I supposed to say? They're like, whatever you want to say.
Right.
I was like, even better.
It's unscripted,
And,
yeah.
unscripted. And I was like, okay, cool.
The best shows.
And then I got
But
this.
that's
are the
that's a
best
good thing and a
shows.
challenging
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like what
It
do you?
wasn't challenging at all. It was fun.
Some
But that-
people
that's the
just
thing.
love going unfiltered and with a camera.
What are the most challenging things about your job? Do you think?
My job or the show?
Your job.
My job. I would say to try to be as fun as possible all the time.
So kind of being yourself.
Yeah, even if I'm having one of those bad days, feeling blue, whatever, I cannot put that on
Yeah,
camera.
that's
how
that's
it
the one
works.
thing. When we're on camera,
That's
we
the-
have
yeah.
to
But
get the
it's
best
also a
version of
positive
ourselves.
thing because it makes you I don't know, get rid of your stress. Like
It takes
you're
you out of your
stressed.
world and brings you into our world.
Like,
But you
feel
must
really
you must
stressed.
love it to do that. I mean, because you can't just force the stress and the
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Stress out.
It's a
It
technique
starts-
you develop throughout time on television,
Yeah.
and it's still
I
a huge
think
skill.
you learn it and it becomes a talent by time.
Right.
Yes.
And then at some point you're like, you know what? This is one of the pros about working on TV. You learn how to control your frustration. You learn how to control your feelings. Once the camera's on, that's it. You're not the same person. You have to go on with a different personality.
And that's kind of like, I mean,
And we're not saying put a different face on.
Yeah.
No,
or lie.
but thing is,
We're saying
as an
Yeah.
we're in the show business. We're entertaining people.
Yes.
How am I gonna
and
entertain
no one wants
someone?
to see someone
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, like I don't wanna give you negative energy. You're watching me because you wanna
you want to be entertained.
enjoy your time.
Yeah.
You want to be
Yeah.
entertained. You're bored. You're like, let's turn on the TV. I want something to make me feel good about myself. You don't want to see a TV presenter that's like, yeah, I'm having a bad day and I'm trying to show you that
Exactly.
I'm having a bad
Saying,
day.
are you not
That's not-
entertained?
You should be entertained.
I am. I'm just curious about the field. Honestly, I'm someone very curious about the camera and being in front of the camera and then behind the camera. And
Here's a question about that.
Uh-huh.
I've met so many different people that work with us on TV and all that. I don't have this issue when I come back and watch myself. I don't have that issue. I can watch myself all day. Not saying that I'm full of myself.
No,
It's
but
just
now you're comfortable with it.
comfortable with it. I've done it for so long.
Exactly,
And I
exactly.
edit my own footage sometimes, so it came natural to me. Some people hate watching themselves.
Yeah.
Do you?
I used to hate.
I don't hate myself, but I usually have a lot of comments. Once I start watching myself, I'm like,
You start
okay, I should have
commenting.
done that. I should have said that. I should have not worn this. I should.
No, I used to
Okay.
mute.
Yeah.
You know, I used to mute my. I would. Oh my god, I would avoid my videos. I would mute them, and I'm like, no, don't make me watch them. Now things have changed. Now I watch them again and again for one reason: to be able to critique what am I
So,
doing
like,
right,
What do I need to improve?
and what am I doing
That's
not.
why we watch them in the first place.
Yes.
I don't want to watch them to be proud of myself. Look at me, I'm so cool. No, I want to watch them because I want to see what can I do better.
Yeah.
What are the things that would
Absolutely.
make me a better
Yes,
presenter,
yes.
a better entertainer, and other
And there are
words.
these small nuances you can adjust.
Yeah.
These things you don't realize while you're doing them.
Yeah.
But once you're watching it on the other
And the
end,
thing is, the audience is very clever, by
very,
the way.
very.
And they would notice things that
Yeah.
you would not
Can't get
notice.
anything past you guys.
Yeah.
But like what? Like, what are we talking about? Like what do you
Anything.
notice?
Could be anything.
Yeah, people watch you and they start commenting on your outfit, the way you talk, your vocab.
The things you never thought they would focus
You
on.
Yeah,
never
yeah,
thought anyone would care. The things that you do in your normal life
And
and,
people
nobody
can get
talks about.
petty.
But once
People
you're on
can get petty,
camera,
yeah.
that's it. That's a totally different
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
People will always have comments. There's
Right.
nothing. There's no room for perfection.
Yes.
But you try your best.
Absolutely.
And at some point, you just get used to the
And
comments.
speaking of those comments,
Yeah.
some are good, some are bad. And this business doesn't come without hate. You know?
True.
Haters gonna hate. I'm always gonna have hate. And I'm always gonna say rise above. But how do you rise above?
Right above these comments.
Yeah. How do you handle that?
Some of them I just take and learn from, and the rest I just laugh at.
Laugh at.
You know,
That's
it's
what
like,
I do.
okay, let me
That's
put
what
it
I
this
do.
way.
Yeah.
Let's say if you're sitting with someone who is German, for instance, and you
Yeah.
don't understand German, and they started, saying bad things about you, you would not understand him, and you probably think he's joking, and you'd laugh about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the same thing. If you don't understand it, then your brain would not translate it
Right,
into,
right.
negative energy. So I just deal with it like I didn't even, I deal with it like they're speaking gibberish. Like
Right,
doesn't
right,
matter.
right.
I don't understand.
That's
what
very
they're saying.
interesting. I used to get a lot of negative comments, and honestly, I would just take it. I used to take it very personally at the start, and then I was
Never
like,
do
you know
that.
what?
Never
And then I
let
was
the
like, you know what?
trolls get in your head.
No,
Never.
Yeah.
and then I started
Yeah.
seeing it exactly as you're saying. I started shifting the perspective into humor, and I don't know. Perhaps at some points people have a point. At some point, I have to take it into consideration.
If it's in the right
Constructive.
place, if it's
Constructive.
constructive,
Exactly,
then yes.
exactly.
But if it's something about my
If it's
looks,
constructive,
I mean, if
then I'm
something
like-
that's very
Yeah.
childish or
Yeah, that's the
immature,
thing. A lot of
And
hate
that's the
comes from
thing.
a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
childish.
That's the thing. It
perspective.
doesn't matter how hard you work. There's always going to be
always
people,
gonna find something.
trying to look for the bad things on you, and
Yeah.
I hate that. And but you know what? You just get along with it and you get used to it.
Sorry, I just slipped here. We're gonna take a break and we'll be right back, and we're gonna do something very interesting right after this. And And we're back on the Untold, continuing the conversation with the amazing Hadeel
Thank you.
ALMusaileem. Welcome back.
It's time for some serious questions, all right?
Very
So we have a list of questions.
Yes.
we're
But
going to ask you.
how about I ask you questions and then we'll continue the interview.
Are you going to put the TV presenter, TV host
Yeah,
skills
I'm gonna
onto
put
us
on
right
the
now?
personality. Can
Oh,
I get the
God.
cards?
Sure, take
Let
all
me
the
see what kind of
cards.
questions you were gonna ask
I
me
wasn't.
anyway.
I don't write questions.
Okay, so
Okay.
so this is a flip of roles. Let's give it a shot.
Let's do this. Should I
No, you're fine.
start?
Go
3,
ahead.
2, 1,
Yeah.
action.
Cut.
All right.
Okay, let's do this. Anyway, so the question is for both of you. I do have a couple of questions that I do find interesting. Anyway, since it is the last of the Untold,
Yes.
tell me, what did you learn from this program?
Shall we say short answers? Yeah, short answers.
Yeah.
No, I want cool answers.
Cool answers.
Like,
I learned that.
he was like, I learned
I
nothing.
I learned that every human being always has a beautiful story. That we need to just simply look at people and ask them the simple question of, what is your story? And once you ask, you'll get the answer. But the problem is, we never ask.
I actually love the name of your show, The Untold. And it's because a lot of people don't tell parts of themselves. They don't tell their story.
Absolutely,
And I think each one of us has something untold in them. And it feels good.
We just have to ask.
You just
yeah,
have to ask.
We just have to ask. What's your story?
Tell me the untold of your story.
Yeah, we try to shed the spotlight on our guests and their stories.
Okay.
Wait,
How
wait,
long?
Wait, one second. What have you learned? Well, he's not going to run away. What have you learned, Ahmed? Go ahead.
Yeah, wait.
After
I
the
mean-
beautiful thing you
No,
said.
no. You're going to have
No,
to say it.
he took it personally. He answered the question.
So I don't have to take it personally. Then.
No.
Okay. What I've learned is that, like you said, each person has their own story, and I
Okay.
love finding out about the individual,
Okay.
and not just what they do, but why. What
Why
was the driving factor?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because
exactly.
that's my first question for every guest almost. What made you get into this profession? I asked you this too. So I'd
Yeah.
like to know what inspired the person
the why.
so they can inspire the viewers.
Well, some people, I find out that some people don't really have an inspiration. They just do it because, you know, it's the only thing for them. Like they are good at it, but
Right.
they don't have the passion for it. And I think that's what makes
Yeah.
you know, makes you good from being amazing.
You're right.
You can be
That
good
was-
at something
Yeah.
because you're good at it, but you could be amazing because you're passionate,
Passionate.
about
And
it.
that was the common factor with most of our guests here was passion.
But passion and something else, passion and experimentation. Every guest we sat with was willing. The one question we asked a lot of guests, and they all answered this exact same way. We asked, why do you get into this field? And they say, I don't know. And that's the best answer, is because I don't know. They're like, by coincidence, it was by accident. I was a kid and I
But-
tried it.
Each and every one of them had a story to tell.
100%.
That was the beauty of it.
And then they went into something that they never tried, and they experimented it. And experimentation builds discovery. And when you discover, you find your passion.
And the thing is, in my opinion, the society always has an effect on
Right.
your talent, whatever
Yeah.
that your talent is.
Yeah.
I used to like drawing as a kid. I used to draw all these, cartoon things, but everyone thought it was stupid, except for my friends. So my entire family thought I was like, yeah, it's a phase. You'll get over it. Nobody even supported me with that. So I just stopped. And yeah.
Yeah, some
I
people
still
won't believe it.
Stop. Don't stop.
Some people
Don't
will
what
not
did we
believe.
say? Do not listen to the haters.
That's the thing. When you're a kid,
You listen to the haters.
no, you listen to the adults, and they'll tell you what
Because
to
you're
do.
soft, and you're softer. You're not.
Yeah, and you're impressionable and all that.
It actually forms your personality.
100%. 100%.
And it can even change your, the things you like,
Right.
and affect your life. So yeah,
So what
next
type of
question.
questions
Next
do you have?
question.
I'm interested in this flip, honestly. Can we just do this for the rest of the episode? I mean,
Okay, sure.
next season.
So how hard was it, to prepare and understand every guest's field? Because I'm pretty sure you had a lot of guests
Right.
and different fields. So
Right.
yeah,
For
it must be
me,
confusing.
I don't find it challenging or difficult.
But
I either do my little research before or the conversation we had before. And I like a natural flowing conversation, like I'm getting to know you on camera.
see,
And I love it.
that's what makes a good TV presenter, research. You always have to do
absolutely,
your research.
Absolutely.
I think the research before is very important, but I think what's even more important is being able to read the room, as they say. It's being able to sit.
Precisely.
So, for example, we sat with a lot of guests. Some people like to talk a lot. Some people like to keep it for themselves. And the trick is being able to adapt for every personality, to bring out most of the untold stories from them in a way that doesn't feel
Try
intrusive.
to navigate them through the conversation.
It's not intrusive. We're not forcing it upon
Yeah,
anyone.
at all,
We're just
at all,
literally
yeah.
curious people that we're going to read the room and we'll ask it to you in your own way.
Yeah.
So adapting it to your language.
Okay.
More questions. More questions.
The next question. Tell us the untold of your story, both of you. Let's start with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You.
And the producer said short answers after writing a question like that. Okay.
The untold story of Hadeel ALMusaileem. I'll just keep it short and sweet. A young adult that's passionate about life and that wants to say yes to a lot of opportunities. That ended up doing a lot of things that I used to call luck. But then when I looked at it from an objective and a helicopter view, as they say, I realized that it just all added up and they all kind of like start building on each other for me to do different things, from podcasting, being on TV, and so on, until I'm sitting with the amazing ALMazeedi on the Untold. So this is my untold story. It's a buildup of coincidences, a buildup of accidents that just led to a beautiful experience that has a long journey to go.
But did you always think you were gonna end up on TV,
Never.
on camera?
Never.
Like, what was your plan anyway?
No plan.
You had no plan.
My plan was to approach life with an open mind and not saying no to opportunities. Because
What
I
about-
think, because I feel, so this is my perspective, because I can really talk for longer about this. My perspective is that when I was 15, 16, 17, 20, 22, 23, when I closed my eyes, I never saw TV in front of me. What I saw is the next thing that I'm passionate about. And back then, the next thing was probably finishing my degree. I never thought about TV. But because I approached it with an open heart, I ended up doing an experience, and that experience led me closer to TV. And after for a few yeses, I'm here.
So no, you always say yes to opportunities.
Yes.
YOLO.
Yellow. Okay. So same question goes to you, Ahmed.
Boy, where do I even start? The untold story of ALMazeedi, AJ, or whoever he likes to call himself.
Yeah. Why do you call yourself AJ?
Oh, you want to get into
who
that?
gave
I
you-
don't think
who
they
gave
want to
you
get
that
into that.
nickname?
I'll tell you later. Anyway,
Okay.
so, like my untold story, it's coming to television.
Whatever you want to say. What is your untold story? As soon as I give you that question, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? The story that nobody knows about you.
Well,
Ooh, this is getting
It's
interesting.
basically a kid with a dream. When I was
Okay.
8, 9 years old, I fell in love with movie making. The idea of being able to tell a story through camera and move people at home, here, touch them here. If I can leave one person feeling something after this episode or a movie or whatever project I'm working on, then I find success in that. Because I want to evoke feeling in people
100%, yeah.
and have stories to share and visions to tell. So I did the 12-year-old do your own videos thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
So
did-
I'm not the only one who did that. Cool.
Yeah,
Nah,
I did the
nah.
YouTube thing. I went and pursued a degree in film in LA. I came to KTV as a director, somehow ended to be a host. That's a different story.
Okay.
And here I am.
Since you said something about moving from LA to Kuwait,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the experience that you had in LA. Then you had to move all of that to Kuwait. See, look at his face. He's like, no, please don't ask me that.
So, LA was a beautiful experience. I always dreamt of going to LA and living in LA. One day I will be moving back to LA. The experience there is just the people I met, the connections,
You're
the
leaving me?
friendships. Huh?
You're leaving me?
Yes, the friendships. You're free to come. The friendships I've made and stayed with me to this day and forever, I will never take for granted. The lessons I've learned from my professors, the support I had from my school to make my short film and all that with my senior thesis. It was a beautiful experience, and I will never take it for granted.
But how would you use that in Kuwait?
Television, I'm right here. I'm working so many different positions.
But have you worked in films inside Kuwait? Like,
Not yet. In Kuwait, I have not worked on film projects in Kuwait yet.
but if you were to work in a film project in Kuwait,
Yes.
what do you think we're missing in here?
And
Besides CGI,
not
obviously.
you're not missing CGI. And like, what we're missing in the movie industry in Kuwait is skilled people, proper funding. We need bigger budgets to make a proper movie.
The thing is, we do, and I guess we're missing
Writers. What you're missing is someone who can write for cinema. Screenplay writing is very different than TV writing. They got the TV soap opera down in Kuwait. The film industry needs better writers. And there
thing
is
is-
hope.
And the thing is, I notice in Kuwait what they do on, on let's say Kuwaiti sitcoms, they just do it in a movie, and it's the same characters, always the same
Right,
plot.
yes.
And once,
Because they're writing from a television perspective.
and they always steal stories from,
They're uninspired.
Can I
There's
ask?
a lot
I
of
see
uninspired.
two hosts talking about something, and I want to touch on something. I see a skill that you're showing us right now. Is it the reflective questions that you have? I've noticed that he would say a long sentence. So this is what I noticed. He would say a long sentence, and he mentions LA, and you're like, "Poof, you take the keyword out. And you're like,
that's
I'll
that's
take-
what
I'll
a
take-
TV
Technique,
presenter
skills,
does.
my
so,
friend.
so honestly, I just want to say, from honestly this literally 2-minute exercise or 8 minutes, I've learned something. Thank you so much. I loved how you used the reflective questions. You made us actually open up a bit more than I personally expected, and I can see how he opened up.
Good.
You asked him one question, and because you noticed his passion. You took one word, LA, that he's very passionate about, and you mixed it with the double passion, and that was like the boom, tell me about the TV and LA.
Thank you for
So
the compliment.
honestly, thank you so much for showing us this.
I wouldn't
It's
be
a
able
pleasure.
to do this if I wasn't like having fun and enjoying my time with you guys. It doesn't feel like I'm presenting right now. It feels like I'm just having a
having
regular
fun.
conversation
Yeah.
with you guys.
And
Anyway,
that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Because when we have conversation, it flows without noticing that there are actually cameras or people and so on. It felt like a natural, friendly conversation. It's the first time I meet you. And, Ahmed knows you before. But I can still feel like, we actually discussed a lot of things being with the first timers.
good. That's a good thing. So, you
Well,
do have one more
I know you have
She
question?
has
more
one more
questions.
question.
I know, but we're running out of time. I'm so sorry. I'm
It's
not going to cut
fine.
you off, but I have one last question for you. Advice for the viewers, anyone that wants to get into our field, inspire them. Any last words you'd like to leave
Okay.
us?
Should I look at the camera?
Yeah, that's your thing,
Okay.
right?
So if you're watching this and you want to be a TV presenter, you need to build chemistry with the camera. You need to understand how it works. You need to learn from someone who worked on TV. And working in the media, it's not just studying, media. You actually have to work in the media because studying it and working with it is completely different. And you have to understand what you want to do. What kind of shows do you want to do? Do you want to do something like news? Do you want to be a news anchor? Do you want to do something like a podcast? It depends on what you're interested in. And I would say just try everything until you find your thing.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Love
Thank
that
you for your
advice.
time.
Thank
it was
you.
an exceptional episode
Love it, love it.
of
Thank
the
you.
I
Untold.
loved it.
And
It's a
that's
pleasure,
it.
honestly.
It's
Thank
a
you. It was
Thank
a
you for
pleasure
teaching
meeting you
us
for the first
a thing or
time.
two today.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with the wrap up right after this.
We're back with a wrap up with our special guest, actually, which is still here today.
Yeah, I'm
we
still-
never do that, but because it was a very special episode,
Yes.
we really enjoyed the
I had
conversation.
fun too.
Thank you so much for your time. Again, as I said, we learned a lot. At least I did.
I learned a lot. Like,
About our untold stories, the
Uh-huh.
beautiful untold
And
stories.
you're saying I didn't learn anything about you?
no,
over
I
here?
mean, no.
I learned a lot about Ahmed today. He opened up, so
He
that's
did? I
cool,
mean, no
yeah.
wonder
I
you did.
rarely do, apparently.
You're a low-key therapist. I mean,
I
no.
could be a therapist. Maybe I am.
You never know. Never too late to study
Who knows,
something
who
new.
knows?
Never too late.
Probably, yeah.
Never too
That's
late.
the untold story of Hadeel.
Yep. Well, that's it for tonight's episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good night.
Good night.